let's take a look at what happened today with Tesla. We closed at 440.13, down $39.73. That's 8%, 8.28%, 8.28% down. Post-market seemed to be down to 428, actually. So let's take a look at what this means on the chart. So today, this is what happened today. This is what happened. You see the VIX? VIX has been climbing for the past 2-3 days. This was starting to become a little bit of a concern. It was not a concern specifically at 16, but it was climbing. This was a concern. While it's climbing, we need to keep it in check. So today we had the Fed interest rate decision, and they lowered the interest rates at 4.5, down 0.25. This is what was expected from Powell to do, and he did exactly that. The problem is, and thank you to Mark from the Discord channel, the problem is that Powell mentioned that there may be only 2 rate cuts instead of 4 in 2025. So apparently this is what sent people running scared. So look at the VIX. Up almost 12. And if we go back in the past to see this big green candle, we had that in August of this year. Boom, August of this year. But aside from that, to get the candle as big as that, I don't know when we would need to come back. Yeah, the COVID part. The COVID era was pretty weird in terms of the VIX. It went up to 80 something. So yeah, the COVID in 2018, 2015, 2009, 2008, 2009, we had a big move like this. So this is pretty crazy. So a lot of uncertainty. So people were uncertain. And when there is uncertainty, people freak out. People freak the hell out. And this is what it is. So this is why we dropped down and we seem to be continuing tomorrow. Aside from that, just a little bit of a note, because the VIX is so high and VIX, the calculation of the VIX is based on option premiums. So when the VIX is higher, it means that the premiums of options is also higher. So this is perfect time to sell some covered calls. If you still have some Tesla shares, to sell some covered calls. They are going to be expensive, so you sell them and you buy them later when things cool down. In terms of covered call, if you are a cowboy, you can do it just above 480 as the strike price. And if you just want to be a little bit more safe, you do it just above 500 and you should be okay. Right now, so where were we? Let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. So yesterday, we started plateauing a little bit yesterday, but it did not mean that we were going to go down. We did not know exactly. So we plateaued right here at 484.13. This was a plateau. And the bottom was at 467.13. So on the 1-hour chart, this is pretty much where the congestion zone was. And then we broke that congestion zone. So breaking that congestion zone in itself is not the best news. You could have sold, in hindsight, you could have sold right there. You could have sold when we broke lower than 467, but that would have played it pretty tight. So where we are always trying to learn, where could you sell it also? We have so many support lines. So you could have sold it on this support right here, which is at 464. We had another support at 460. And we had another one at 452 right here, at 452. We had so many support to take a look at. Yeah, let me just remind you that this is one candle. This is one candle. It does not mean that this is a new trend. Does not mean that this is a new trend. It means that we are no longer into the congestion zone, as I just said. Congestion zone is gone. We had this bullish channel, steep bullish channel. This one is also gone. This one is also gone, but the bigger bullish channel, a little bit wider, this one is still active. Let me just redo the lines a little bit. this is where we are. We are going to need a few more candles to see where things are at. So far, we can draw this. We can draw this very shallow downward trend. So this is where we are right. So we'll see where this takes us. Let's take a look at the rest of the market actually. And before, let's look at the daily chart. So on the daily chart, we are still above the 21-day moving average. We are still above it. We are still into our bullish channel. We were outside of our bullish channel, but now we are back in. We still have stochastic over 60. All of our indicators are still bullish. So far, this is just one big red candle. Things could be recovering tomorrow. Nobody knows. In terms of RSI, we were overbought and we are now no longer overbought, but everything is still very healthy. It is impossible to pinpoint the exact top with accuracy. It is always impossible to do that. You just need to decide what is going to happen with it. Selling when we cross the 21-day moving average makes a lot of sense, unless we start doing a congestion zone on the daily chart. So if we start zigzagging right here and then decide that we break it, then this is also another area that we could decide to sell after. And also, Tesla is a great company, and I'm sure Tesla in the future is going to be worth more than what it was worth for 80 not too long ago. You can also keep the stock. So selling is such a personal decision. Buying is not a personal decision. When a stock makes a specific move, a specific pattern, and it breaks that pattern, then it's like watching a red light turning green. If you looked at it red and it becomes green, this is the time to go. After that, if it has been green for 35 seconds, when is it going to turn red? When is it going to turn red? Let's take a look at the rest of the market beside the VIX to see what has been happening. So we already know VIX is super high. VIX is super high. So right now, I would advise against buying anything. I don't think we are going to find any buy signals. Anyway, let's take a look at the bonds. Okay, look at this. At the same time, boom, we have the break of our downward channel for the bonds. So bonds are going higher. This is for sure not helping the markets. I cannot help but see this. We are above a previous top on top of it. So this is not too good either. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, stock indices. Okay, wow. Okay. So Dow Jones took a hit also, down 2.5%. So no longer into our bullish channel. The bullish channel that we've talked about, we were still above it, and we were still above 43,339. This was still intact, but now we are outside of this bullish channel. So what things are changing. Things are changing. So this is the big bullish channel we are in since 2020. Big bullish channel. We are still into this big bullish channel. We had a smaller one since 2023. These channels last for a long time, 2023. Now, boom, we are outside of it. It happened in the past where we recovered. So just to be sure, I'm going to include those recoveries right here. So if we include those recoveries, we are still okay. We crossed, this is on the weekly chart, we crossed the 21-day moving average on the weekly chart. So we still have some support at 41,826. That's the good news that remains, but we are really outside of this smaller bullish channel. So Dow Jones was impacted, and we knew, we saw this Dow Jones do, this is hindsight, it was turning. So maybe Dow Jones knew something, or maybe this is just a coincidence. S&P, okay, S&P was impacted also, still into its bullish channel, but now it's starting to break support. And NASDAQ also suffered from this. NASDAQ still right smack on its bullish channel though. This is actually pretty nice to see this, that we stopped right smack on it on this line. Boom, right smack on it, losing stochastic over 60. If we look at the rest of the stock market, Apple down 2%, Palantir 3%, SoFi 8%. So things are not looking too good. Myself, I own some SoFi, some Palantir, and things like that. Like for SoFi, it's still holding support at 1521. I'm going to stay while this support holds. If it fails tomorrow, I'm out. That's it. That's all. This is as simple as that. Palantir, the same thing. We have support at 68. If we get lower than a 68, boom, I'm going to be out. I don't own much of anything. I had some Tesla, but I took profit yesterday on Tesla. Just be mindful that it's basically impossible to sell at the exact top. The top could have been 500. There was decent reasons for which 500 could have been the top, but so far the top was 484.13. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you like what I do, you can become a YouTube member. Click on my TradingView affiliate link. I'm going to wish you a great evening. We are going to talk tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you à la prochaine.